Needed to distract myself because working on the internals of Taurus autoloaders is a fucking miserable experience. Taurus autoloader. I'm not a K person, but I kind of feel if you were complaying this on K or something, you just get like 10 different posts of people being like, just buy a Glock, dude. I own 5 Glocks. I never have to ever clean or maintain them. I keep my Glock literally inside my asshole, and whenever I need to pull it out and shoot somebody at the club, it works perfectly fine. I'm doing this as an order. My job is fixing guns. LMAO. What company is Taurus? Is it a... I want to see what... Taurus gun company. Taurus USA. Yeah, that's what I figured. A clock that wasn't properly put together sounds like a US company right there. There's a lot of American things that feel like... Wait, so is this entire company just like a American gun company that makes guns that look like other companies' guns? I don't understand how the gun industry works, but these are all clearly, you know, famous looking guns from other companies. Do they just like... They're just like, people want a Beretta, but you want the Kirkland brand Beretta or something? Taurus makes copies of other countries' guns. If they're making... So, is the autoloader like a SIG or something? I carry a CZ 75. I know by reading the manga Gunsmith Cats that the CZ 75 is the greatest handgun ever created. Or something. That's what Raleigh said, so whatever. They're just cheaper versions of European guns. Autoloader just refers to any and all semi-automatic handguns. Okay. CZ Goat of Hand. Yeah, I've fired guns in my life once. There was a guy who was working at the YMCA with me who was National Guard. So he, of course, was like a gun owner. And on a day off, we went to the shooting range. He owned a Glock and a CZ 75. I keep on saying CZ 75 because I'm thinking in my Japanese brain. I guess it would be CZ 75. However you pronounce it. And I was surprised at how much a difference in recoil there was for the CZ 75 having much less recoil, I guess because it's a steel frame. And the Glock really was bouncing around. Also, the AR had the least amount of recoil, just because of it being a long gun. Did you hurt yourself? No. But I didn't do all the proper gun etiquette and didn't like properly, you know, I don't know, eject the clip and turn on the safety when I returned it to the holster or whatever, and I got in trouble for that. And the National Guard buddy was like, sorry, I should have told that to you beforehand. But I didn't shoot anybody by mistake, so... Mission accomplished. In Japan, nobody gets to have guns except the brief number of people who are tasked with shooting bears as the bear population explodes. And even when they do that, the local government are like, why did you shoot the bear? And it's like, bro, what do you expect us to do? Once the military came to our school to recruit students and shit, and they let us fire their machine guns. You think this is cool, kids? Well, you can do this every day until you get hearing damage if you join military service. He was coming straight at me, defense. Honestly, if a bear is really coming straight at you, sometimes having a gun won't be enough, depending on the caliber. You hit them in the head and the skull is too thick and they keep on coming. In Japan, when we perform assassinations, we do it the old-fashioned way by stabbing people. Except the recent one in which Abe got shot, I guess. Now that's the real OG right there. No gun, no problem. Build your own gun. I'm just not really good at objects that are like supposed to fit together in certain ways. I'm guessing this is part of the Asperger genes, but like everybody who's like, dog, you can build your own PC just fine. It's like Legos. I'm like, yeah, Legos that cost like $3,000, and if you snap them into place wrong, like, and you're gonna break off a piece. Like, I never know whether I'm not, like, pushing hard enough or I'm pushing too hard until, like, I snap whatever thing I'm trying to fit into piece, like, in half and stuff. So, I assume that guns aren't going to be that fragile, but they have the added dimension of, like, me putting them together wrong and them not firing or misfiring. I would be like the opposite of retard Forrest Gump putting together his rifle in like 5 seconds. It would be like, God damn, son, you've been working on that thing for the last 40 minutes. It's like, I don't know, drill sergeant. It's just not, the parts don't fucking fit. I have that fear too, but realistically, you have to be really dumb to break your PC. I tried my ability to fix electronic parts when my PlayStation 5 controller got stick drift that was so bad that it was basically unusable. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to buy a new controller anyway. So we can try my abilities on this to see how it works out. And I was able to take it apart. But yeah, a lot of the parts were like, you have to push it with the right amount of force. And I failed to put it back together, so it became electronic waste. So yeah, if I'm ever gonna go PC gaming, which I probably will not, I mean, I guess I already am because I have a laptop, but if I'm ever gonna build my own PC, I will probably buy a pre-built or something. I don't think I'm gonna go down the building it myself rabbit hole. If you ever want to get started on gun building, buy an AR kit. It's like adult Lego. Excuse me, but I don't need any guns because I have studied the blade under my master for many years in glorious Nippon. That's Japan for you white people. I use the superior Japanese steel folded 10,000 times. How did you fuck up putting it back together? You just do the same thing but reversed? Have you fixed a PS5 controller? Because if you have fixed a PS5 controller, then I guess you can say that I've done it incorrectly, but unless you regularly take apart warranty voided commercial electronics that wasn't meant to be taken apart in the first place, I don't want to hear shit from you. I parry the bullet with my rock hard cock. I just wear the pendant that my childhood friend promised me that I should take it with me when I was going on my journey. The bullets just magically are attracted to the pendant. And I'm like, Kanako, you were protecting me all this time. I think any genuine master could probably block an underdressed 45 ACP cartridge. I mean, in reality, if you're in Sword, if we're actually talking about master shit, I keep on getting like all these fucking Japanese EI videos in my YouTube feed, and unless you're a quick draw artist yourself on the gun side, let's see if I can actually find the video that was like so fast that you can't really see what's going on. This thing right here. At 1/10 speed, it just sort of slips out. Right here. So you're sitting in the same room, like a crowded ass tea house in Japan, within like, 6 feet of this guy, and just like this, it just pops out. Shit, Musashi was doing 500 to go for funsies. Musashi didn't do EI. Musashi is from a previous generation. EI is mainly developed during the Edo period. See, before the Edo period, it was all about you were using spears and arrows and stuff to kill people. Batto Jutsu, literally like pulling your sword out of the sheath skills, developed when you had this weird social situation where there's all these samurai that get to walk around with a sheathed sword. But like you're not allowed to be carrying like full spears and stuff like that. So then you get this situation where you don't have like the best form of defense, which is range. Because, like, you're all living in, like, normal society in close quarters. So then the next best thing just becomes, like, everybody has a sword. So if you want to beat somebody, you have to just, like, kill them before they kill you. So all this, like, speed techniques develop, and that's EI right there. I can't post links, but there are some pretty amazing SSA quick draws out there. Yeah, single action army is what they like to use, right? Like, there's all these, the guys that can, like, shoot, like, 3 balloons at the same time. It looks like he's, like, just shooting 3 bullets from, like, one barrel, which he is. You know what I mean? Like, they just all pop simultaneously. Screw your Odachi Wakazashi Katana Taste My Yari Nagi Nato Banzai. Odachi is about the same length as a spear, though, by the way. I've seen them in the museums. They're fucking, like, massive. They're basically the length of a short spear. Anyways, on NBA, just like 2016, Cavs are looking to wipe Raps. Well, duh. Raps are probably the worst team in the playoffs right now, if we're going to be honest. Cavs have all sorts of problems, but they don't have as much problems that they're going to lose to the Raptors. The first round of the NBA playoffs is not going to be particularly good. I think we can say that. It's going to be pretty lackluster, but second round is going to be fucking fire if we get chalk. Second round, we're going to get San Antonio versus Denver. All sorts of good shit. So I will be watching that. I just can't keep up with sports. Oi, mate! Are you watching the match? Me and the boys, we going down to the pub. We rooting for the Arsenal. Those cheeky buggers of Chelsea, they have got right, boy. This is the year we win the cuppy. This is my impression of the British person. Oh my god, still blank canvas. Shut the fuck up. You shut your dirty mouth now, you piece of shit. Do you know how much suffering goes into creating art? A big titty anime girl. I've trained millions of years for this. Fucking trigger replacement took forever. Why use trigger when you can just light fuse to activate the black gunpowder that you've stuffed inside the barrel? The old ways are always the best. Average Manchester United fan. If we have any Brits in chat, who are the most deplorable, despicable fans of Premier League soccer teams? Would it be Manchester United? I've heard of some people complain about like Chelsea and stuff as well. Because as an NBA fan, I can say without a doubt it's probably the fucking Lakers fans. Laker fans haven't won anything that much recently, at least, so it's not that bad, but Laker fans expect a championship every year, and the sad part is like it's actually pretty close to them getting one every year, basically, because people just want to play in LA. Rob Premier League, Rob Nagubu, ain't Amy Gamer, not racist, she's just not one of us Brit lads. Come on, lads. Oi. Come on, England. Score me some fucking goals, bang, bang, bang. I'm not even an NBA fan, I just know how annoying Lakers fans can be. When I used to work in an office and I just wanted shit to listen to all day, I would go and listen to the morning sports talk radio of different regions because you could listen to it online. And it was pretty funny because the East Coast and West Coast would be on different time slots, right? So you get like the New York fans in a constant state of agony in the morning, and then by afternoon you get like the LA fans who are also in a constant state of agony, except they have won like 5 championships and stuff. And it was like, LMAO. Listen to them go. Manx in general have a huge reputation over in the UK. I guess whichever team has the most Saudi oil money is probably also going to be the most obnoxious, probably. Did you see the paraplegic cat video? I've been laughing so uncontrollably, I'm worrying I might be psychologically compromised. No, I have not seen it. Paraplegic cat. It looks like a slug that moves very quickly. It's like watching like a cartoon version of a snail or a slug or something that can somehow move at high speed. It's a woman screaming because there's a roach in a room? Wow, this is a different paraplegic cat? I can't keep track of all your internet funsies, guys. This one didn't kill someone. The cornhole player wasn't a paraplegic, he was a quadriplegic, I believe. Which is way more impressive. Anybody can murder someone as a paraplegic. There's people who can like run at higher speed on their arms than their legs when they don't have any legs. Like, you know, there's people who can like run 100 meters in like 20 seconds just on their arms. So I assume those guys could kill people pretty easily. But quadriplegic, now that's some impressive shit right there. It's a white kitten. Look, I'm not going to be spending my time trying to find a video. I need to be drawing. The path of chat being like, have you seen the video? And then me being like, let me look for it and watch it and react is the path to becoming Asmongold, except with way fewer money and followers, which is not a good place to be in. Focus is important. If I actually cared about focus, I wouldn't be streaming at all. I don't get anything fucking done when I'm trying to do something else. Often I will cope when I don't want to properly try hard and be like, no, I can totally watch YouTube in the background while I'm drawing, and it's always not very efficient. Actually, there are times when I find stuff that's just audio content, and then it is fine. But then when that video ends and I start looking for another video, that means like you waste like 15 minutes trying to find the next video. So if we're actually going to be like efficient about shit, you should just not have any background shit in the first place. And talking to you guys is just like a complete non-sequitur, a non-starter. I will never be efficient when I'm trying to have a conversation with somebody else. I use up literally every single one of my brain cells just to not say, I don't know, the N-word or how Hitler had some interesting ideas and maybe we should give him a chance or something like that. All of my willpower goes to keeping myself censored, as you can clearly tell by how buttoned down and politically correct these streams are. Near music or complete silence. Recently I tried drawing with like earplugs in. Not just like no outside shit, just like straight up like closing off my ears so I only have visual information. And yeah, I was more efficient. We are clearing all the bingo spaces, aren't we? I haven't talked about gay sex yet. I guess it's the free space, so it's always there. I think I'm just going to give him the full. I stop looking for videos when working. If I actually want to be efficient, I will be efficient. But half of the time, I don't want to be efficient in the first place. Despite my job being literally my hobby, the fear of being forced to actually focus on something is too great. But when you are actually focused, it allows you to like tune out the world. So I should just do it more and just straight up focus and consider it my me time, you know? My me time without annoying distractions. Are you working on your manga again? Well, I'm supposed to be working on the one-shot so I can send it to Japanese publishing companies, but I haven't done that. I've been going down like a art improvement rabbit hole. Namely, like, trying to figure out how to draw faster, and namely, trying to figure out the combination of pens I want to use. And that has kind of prevented me from focusing on doing my storyboards, even though I know I have to be doing that. And I probably should just be focusing on that in the first place, but I can't help myself. I'm interested in what you do with the cyberpunk setting. Probably not much. See, a lot of setting is your ability to draw backgrounds properly, which I can't really do. It's not as big as a problem as you might think, because if you actually get a series, you're going to have to rely on your assistants for backgrounds in the first place. Cyberpunk is so overdone anyway. I disagree. I don't think it's overdone. Not properly, at least. When's the last time you've had like a cyberpunk setting where you're like, damn, I'm really feeling it? I really was feeling it in Cyberpunk video game 2077, but I didn't enjoy the plot at all. All I enjoyed was like driving around in the city and looking at cyberpunk stuff going on in the city. So it says a lot about how much I like the setting, but I fucking despise the plot. So it there's a lot of like unfinished business in my psyche regarding the setting. Also, I'm kind of bored of the. I've said this before, but I feel like there's a lot of potential for a more uh, slightly more positive version of the cyberpunk setting, which is basically what Star Wars is. Like technology, but there's like griminess. But cyberpunk takes that and it has to be like, oh, everything has to also be depressing as well. Like you can have like, for example, like you can just be like corporations run everything, but it ain't that bad. It's kind of shitty, but you know, it's not that simple. I feel like that's a more realistic version of the world than everything always being shitty all the time, which is like always what has to be with cyberpunk. It was always funny when I drew a bunch of like cyberpunk anime related stuff, and people were like getting so angry about the ending of the cyberpunk anime, and I was like, hey kiddies, is this the first time you've watched like a depressing setting? This is what happens in literally every like crime fiction related media, is they all die. This is just the par for the course. Everything sucks, but they still have a good time. I feel like you can have a bleak setting with corporations and shit like that, but it doesn't have to be that bleak, you know? Also, I think that ultimately having your setting uh, be more powerful than the actions of characters is kind of like a defeatist way to think about fiction. Because ultimately, the way that people follow fiction is like they want to see the main character tell a story from their perspective, and they want to see the world change around them as a result of like the personal actions of the main character and how the main character themselves changes. So when you have the setting to be so overwhelmingly powerful that it dictates the actions of the main character, and like the main character can be like, I've, you know, tried so hard and come so far, but in the end it doesn't even matter. It kind of defeats the whole point of like following the story in the first place, you know what I mean? Because like if you're setting up this cyberpunk setting that is like so overwhelmingly like concrete in like the power of say depressing corporations and shit, that also means that there can't be a lot of change. And this often happens for like these crime stuff because like they wanted to make it be like gritty and like realistic and shit, and you can't just be like, oh, and then you know he escaped the ghetto and it was fine, right? But that also means like you're kind of robbing the readers of an experience, because it means that like it's just going to be too stable. It's going to be too stable in its shittiness, you know? And I think that's good enough when you're like a 13-year-old and you're like, oh man, I'm so hardcore because I'm reading Heart of Darkness or some shit like that. But as you grow older, you kind of see the limitations to the format. Ultimately, for better or for worse, you want there to be like real effects on the people around you as a result of the action. What people want is change, and they want there always to be the possibility of change. Cyberpunk as a game, at the very least, has endings that make it feel like what you're doing matters. Bro, Cyberpunk as a game is story is dog shit. I don't even care if my actions matter or not because I hated the characters in it so much. My whole argument is like you want to see the characters like change the world around them and make their own actions and stuff like that, but like it doesn't even matter if I fucking hate the characters. And by God, I fucking hate Johnny Silverhand. I truly fucking despise that character so much. Some people have said, no, you're supposed to dislike him, but I really think that Cyberpunk or CD Projekt Red, when they were writing the character, they're like, oh man, people are gonna love this guy, he's such a rock star. Yeah, there's parts of him that are cringe, but that just makes him more complex. He's not even real. He's literally AI, your AI boyfriend. Except he's not even the positive ChatGPT AI boyfriend. Jackie was a bro. Yeah, they really shouldn't have killed him off that early. All in all, it felt poorly crafted, and they wasted a lot of money on Keanu, which they should have spent properly debugging the fucking game so it actually would run. How about that? Imagine a video game running properly on everyone's systems. I know, it's impossible, right? You are supposed to hate him for sure. You make him own up for being a dipshit. I didn't. I was just like, nah, fuck off. And then I went to Arasaka and got stuck in their engram machine and whatever. And I was just like, I don't care. I'm just going to do literally the opposite of what Johnny would have wanted. The only character I liked in Cyberpunk is the old retainer, Japanese retainer guy at Arasaka, who is just like trying to fight against a new age, and he still believes in like honor and shit, and he's like getting his ass kicked for it. Game's a solid 6 out of 10 after all the bug fixes. It's a great city to drive around in, but that's about it. Also, the gameplay itself, like jumping around and shooting, is a lot of fun, but it's also a little bit too easy because, like, you know, you're way more overpowered. The gap between you during gameplay segments bouncing around and murdering like half of the cops in the city and just being completely invincible because you can recover your entire health bar when you hit headshots and stuff with a knife, versus, and then you enter the cutscene and now you're like a terminal AIDS patient and you're coughing and you're like, oh, I can't move, oh, the cyber AIDS, it's killing me, blah blah blah. It's like, wow, that's a lot of whiplash right there. It's just like, man, it's just like the super typical video game thing where like you become too powerful, so they have to nerf you during cutscenes to make sure that you're just not a god, because they want to, you know, force the plot. It's very annoying. Boo, American company and AI guy, also ball. Hehe, I like you, Doomer, Japanese corporate man. I mean, he's not a doomer. He's like, he doesn't, if he recognized that what he was doing was doomed, he'd be a different character. But he's still like trying to like salvage some shit. I like old people who are like, I'm still going down with the ship. Ludonarrative dissonance. Cyberpunk would have been a much better game if you were allowed to fuck the Arasaka Japanese corporate woman. The romantic options in Cyberpunk game were just absolutely atrocious. The only straight male, the overwhelmingly large part of the fan base, the only straight male option was your smelly Bedouin female. And I was like, okay, this is fine. She has a big ass. But like after you like literally save her stupid incompetent tribe from their stupid incompetent bullshit for like the 6th time, and then like you're holed up with a sandstorm outside and she's like putting her fucking hand on your thigh and looking into your eyes, and you're like, all right, it's time to fuck. It's time for gratitude sex. And then after she's put your fucking hand on your fucking thigh and you're like, let's go, Panam, let's fuck. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, V. It wasn't like that. After that, I was just like, okay, I'm fucking done with you. And I never answered the phone from her again. I just straight up ghosted her in game. I was just like, you know what? I'm not playing video games to deal with this kind of bullshit. I have better shit to do, like murdering people. I never replied to her emails ever again. It would have been one thing if this was like after mission number 1 and I was immediately asking for the pussy, but this is like after mission number like 12 or whatever, and I've murdered like 30 people for her. And she's the one who's like sitting next to you and being like, it's so nice. And then she's like, no! I'm like, okay. Enough. We ain't doing this anymore. I think you have to be good enough friends or whatever. That's the cutoff point. Bro, that woman has probably been getting banged by random drunk cousins as part of her, like, stupid fucking outside tribal unit since she was, like, 13. And she's not offering me sex after I've murdered, like, 40 people to save her ass. Fuck off. Honestly, she should be offering sex up front. This is the incel chud stream in which I yell about how women virtual, parentheses, virtual women owe me sex, because they really do. You would have loved her getting mad at you for being in a coma for 2 years? Wait, is that how it works? Oh, that's right, with the DLC? I can't remember how the DLC works. Right, because they don't appear in the DLC. I think I heard of that, right? They don't appear in the DLC. And they're like, I'm angry, but they couldn't be bothered to make new content with me, so I'm just going to be like, how dare you were in a coma for 2 years? That's a deal breaker. Everyone moved on without V, basically. I don't play DLC. That's just one of my general policies of video games. There's almost never been a DLC in which I was like, that was worth my $15. Like, $15 is like half of a video game if you buy video games on sale, which I do. If I'm buying the whole Cyberpunk video game for $25, I'm not going to spend $15 on the fucking DLC. All of your friends were fair weather. The video game experience I want to have is me and the boys on our JRPG journey, going to far off places to defeat powerful enemies, and at the end of the day, we get a heartwarming ending, and all the guys are still best friends, and I get the girl, and we get on our fucking airship and we fly off into the sunset. I don't really need anything more or less than that. That's all I want. So yeah, these video games aren't scratching that itch. So yeah, Panam can fuck off. If I'm playing Final Fantasy IX, Garnet doesn't get mad when Zidane is smashing his face into her butt. She's just like, oh, you silly main character, you. That's the energy I want. Life is a highway. We're gonna ride it all night long. Final Fantasy 15 could have been really good if it wasn't a bad game, unfortunately. the core concept is there. At least they understood what the appeal of JRPGs were. Hopefully Rockstar gives us new but better Panam. I don't like Rockstar storytelling either. The more they increased their amount of storytelling they started to put in GTAs and stuff, the less interested I became in them. I've complained about this before, but I don't like how their general storytelling setup is just like you go and then you meet wacky person who's like, "Oh, Tony, what's up? Oh, sorry, Tony, I was beating this guy with this dildo while I'm doing coke, ha ha ha. Whoa, I'm so wacky and crazy. Whoa, here's a mission. Go and shoot some people in the helicopter." And then you, the main character, just sort of stands there and being like, uh-huh. And then you go and do the shit, and it's like, mission accomplished. $100,000 gained. It's actually like $10,000. And then you go back to them, and he's like, "Oh, I'm doing wacky shit again, bros!" And, like, they've never actually moved on from that. But then they also try and, like, create some kind of more, I guess it's supposed to be a more important, touching storyline. I didn't finish GTA 5, and I finished GTA 4, and I was like, well, that was a waste of time. Because I don't... See, here's the thing, guys. Plot doesn't mean anything if you don't care about the characters. And if you don't like any of the characters, you're not going to care about them. There was nothing about Nico that made me like him. There was nothing about Nico's cousin that made me like him. There's nothing about any of the GTA 5 characters that made me like them. Like, they're somewhat interesting, but that doesn't mean, like, I care about them. Nor does it mean that I want to play as them. The ability to design characters that people can relate to and be interested in and stuff is quite a skill. It's actually the most important skill. And if you can't fulfill it, then as a whole, your story is just going to fall flat. And GTA just gets away with shit because everybody's addicted to buying shark cards and shit. But nobody is thinking about Michael in their spare time. 5 is actually really well written. If it was so well written, why didn't I finish the game? Checkmate, atheists. Well written doesn't necessarily mean engaging, not for me. Why he's slandering my GOAT GTA 4? Because I didn't like a single character in GTA 4. If anything, GTA 4 feels like high art specifically because it seems like it's a commentary on the alienation of urban situations like New York, reminiscent of classic 1970 movies like Taxi Driver and Urban Cowboy. However, I don't think they were doing this on purpose. I think it just sort of ended up feeling like that. But like the whole experience of dealing with characters in GTA 4 is like you have all these people calling you up on your phone eternally because they want to hang out with you. And I'm like, actually, I don't like any of you. I'm not going to hang out with any of them. So it makes it feel like an extremely lonely experience because, like, you have to be actively telling people to fuck off because you're not really interested in them. It's a very weird situation. Do you like Saints Row instead? Like 2 and 3. At 4, they were already in the we're going to sell DLC as a main game situation, and, you know, don't even get talking about the remake and stuff, so. I mostly liked it for Trevor. Trevor was entertaining as, like, watching a car wreck and, like, crazy shit happen. See, my biggest problem, I think, isn't just the plot of GTA 4 and 5. It's that they got away from a lot of the video game-like aspects. So there isn't really any sense of, like, progression in terms of, like, you're getting stronger or you're getting, like, more resources and stuff like that. You're just on a treadmill that they've set up for you. There isn't any like sense of like, I have to beat this or else I'm not going to be able to progress forward. There's no like skill-based content to it in the story mode, but then I don't want to be like, you know, playing it for multiplayer either, so... Mission Pass, Respect Plus. See, remember how in like GTA 3 and like Vice City, like you would like go on cop killing sprees in the beginning and like you wouldn't have enough shit because you hadn't like gotten a shotgun and stuff yet, and then like later in the game after you had like successfully stolen a tank, you could go on rampages that would last basically for like 20 minutes and just like murder hundreds of cops, and it felt like you were progressing in the story somehow. Like, I want to have a sense of video game-like character progression. Also, there were like a lot of missions in the earlier 3D GTAs that like were legitimately hard to pass, and you would have to like do creative shit. Be like, man, I keep on failing this. Hey, what if I use the resources I have in this open world game and, for example, like find a different car and park it outside the mission and then like change into that car? Or what if I, you know, steal a tank and like have the tank ready? You know, all sorts of weird shit that you could do. Like getting the Hummer that was bulletproof was like a legitimately huge big deal in GTA 3. Glorious murder sprees with a purpose. You don't need an excuse to murder cops. Twitch, I'm joking. I mean in Minecraft. I would never kill hundreds of cops in real life. That would be wrong. You literally steal an alien jetpack in San Andreas? No, you are given an alien jetpack in San Andreas. That's different. It's not something you accomplish. It's something that's given to you through the story mission. You don't understand. It's different when the video game walking simulator is like, this is your new ability now, here, take this thing. You have not earned it. In Minecraft, I thought we were talking about GTA. I've killed thousands of pigs in Minecraft so I can farm their pearls to open the Ender Gate and kill the Ender Dragon and so on. Speaking of games, have you guys been checking out Pragmata? The game of the year for some people. What kind of people? Well, you know, those people. The islanders, as we like to call them. Those that visit the island. I saw it, wasn't impressed. If we want to have new IPs that aren't, you know, number 9 in the fucking series, you should all support it. I say this as I can't support it because I don't have PlayStation 5. It's not around. People saying that the Diana crying emoji that they gave Twitch is like the lolly crying emoji. As an artist, I say it's not the same. The mouth shape and stuff is profoundly different. The Deanna crying emoji looks like she's been bullied or something, whereas the lowly crying emoji is a very accurate representation of the Islanders when they discover cute, funny content. They're different things. It's not uwo kind of sobbing emoji. It's the kind of emoji when you decide to correct the brat by bonking them on the head and they're crying out of pain, not a different kind of correction. It's this brat needs correction from using corporal punishment kind of crying emoji. Most people in the stream don't know, but I grew up in a time in which it was 100% allowed to do brat correction by slapping them across the head or just punching them with your fist across the head. Caving their underdeveloped skull in. That's why in manga, you often have stupid brat kids like this in post-war Japan, and they do something and they get hit like that, and then they have like these big, welts on their head. It's just like, aha, that kid got bonk corrected by his father, and no one was like, that's abuse. They were just like, he's just learning a lesson. He stole the pomegranate from the local neighbor's tree. Smack him in the head. When Nami punches Luffy, yes. Oda is keeping our important traditions of manga stylization alive by beating the shit out of Luffy, who is immune to bludgeoning damage, but still gets welts from getting punched by Nami because he's like going with the flow. Even if he's not taking actual damage, emotionally he understands that he needs to take damage by getting punched, so he takes damage. I just suspended from Twitter again for no reason, thanks Elon. It's actually shocking that I haven't been suspended from Twitter yet, if you think about it, considering how easy everybody is getting suspended every time. Why have I not been suspended yet? I don't know. For one thing, I haven't been sending messages directly to Elon, calling him a pathetic little cuck bitch who can't actually play Path of Exile. So that might be part of it. He is, though? No. That can't be true. I think there was a New York Times article last year where they were saying that there's new evidence that shows that the more money people have, the more happier their lives are. And it doesn't stop at like a certain amount. You just keep on getting happier and happier. And I was like, okay, whoever did that study is probably being funded by rich people who are coping, because I know for a fact that isn't true. Namely because Elon is extremely unhappy and he has like $1 trillion. If like happiness was truly proportional to the amount of wealth you have, you cannot explain the existence of Elon, who is constantly trying to pretend that he can play a video game because he is so desperate for validation. That is not behavior of someone who is happy with their life. They enabled Grok AI to ban 200 people per minute. Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, it's shocking that I haven't been banned yet. Because, like, theoretically, they could just, like, ban you mistakenly at any point. Just look at how unhappy Warren Buffett is. I don't know how unhappy Warren Buffett is. I don't follow him. Elon is so miserable, obviously miserable, in a way that, like, even other rich people, it isn't as obvious. Like, I'm pretty sure Jeff Bezos isn't that happy either, considering he had to divorce his previous wife, and get his new, extremely bogged girlfriend, and then have to, like, rent out the entire fucking city of Venice, and, like, pay a bunch of other celebrities to come because they wouldn't show up at his wedding if he just invited them. All of this shit just speaks to extreme insecurity. Fire is right. Jeff Bezos' first wife. Jeff Bezos' second wife. You're one of, if not the richest man in the world. Your current wife looks like this, and is probably pretty smart and a very competent person. And then you fucking upgrade that, quote unquote, for fucking this. Like, these are even better photos of her. She looks so bogged right now. Like, the bogging is real. This is what you fucking upgraded to, guys. This is what all of your money is buying. Like, I would understand if he was, like, dumping his previous wife for, like, I don't know, a 19-year-old Slovakian supermodel or some shit like that. But this ain't much of an upgrade, dog. This is kind of a downgrade. It is a massive downgrade, yeah. This is when they were both a little bit younger, so. But, you know, rich people think they can buy everything, and the limits of monetary compensation to buy shit, it just you reach them much quicker than the trillionaires and billionaires would like to admit. One of the things you truly cannot buy is respect. And in the same genre as respect, being cool. Which is why it's always funny when you have, like, NBA owners and stuff who are just, like, trying to hang out with the players on the team, even though, like, they haven't accomplished anything. They want to be like, guys, our team won the NBA Cup. Let me hold the trophy first. I definitely accomplished it. Let me pretend that I'm part of this basketball team when all I was doing was paying the paychecks. Like, they want to believe that the rest of society thinks of them as, like, one of the players and shit, but deep down they know it's not the case. I think if you're truly deluded, like, you can actually believe that, like, somehow everybody likes you and shit. But if you're even slightly intelligent, which most of these people are at least slightly intelligent, like, they can't, like, self-delude themselves to the point where they can, like, be truly happy. Damn, Ragnar's hair is fucking difficult. I just need to turn this shit off. Make sure they are legal and you don't do it in a creepy fucking way. Are we talking about having sex with teenagers? A rich guy could just have a harem of concubines. The West has fallen. I mean, who is current Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriend? Leonardo DiCaprio current girlfriend. This is what the internet is giving me. Vittoria Soretti, born 1998. So that makes her, what, 20... Holy shit, she's older than 25? Oh man, Leo is really slipping. I hope he's okay. I can't believe he hasn't dumped her yet. Oh man. He's dating someone in her late 20s? Oh fuck. Is Leo okay? This is DiCaprio's version of being like, yes, I'm an older man now, so I have to start dating people my age. Like 28. She should start cashing out already? Yeah, probably. Literal hag. Imagine dating someone who's older than 25 with all her dried up eggs. I can smell the menopause from over here. Ball Buddy, light of my life, fire of my loins, my sin, my soul, BaalBud D, the upper and lower lip uniting and parting for 3 expulsions of air. Jesus Christ, he's posting the entire first part of Lolita. He was bald, plain bald in the morning, standing 5'11" in one sock. He was gaijin in shorts. He was Mr. Ass Bleeder at the doctor's office. He was John BaalBuddy on the dotted line, but on my screen he was always BaalBuddy. Did he have a precursor? He did. Indeed he did. In point of fact, there might have been no BaalBuddy at all had I not loved one summer a certain Tumblr artist in a clan thread by the waifus. Oh, when, about as many years before Ball came to be as the financial crisis ravaged the housing market. You can always count on an unemployed man for Coom. Ladies and gentlemen of the chat, exhibit number 1 is what the Guro Coomers, the misguided, simple, depraved enjoyers of mutilated flesh envied. Look at this tangle of hemorrhoids, Jesus Christ. How much time are you spending on creating your fucking Nabokov copy pasta? Kind of funny now, time him out. Wait, he might have more. I don't know how many pages of Lolita he has copy-pasted. Old BB would have timed him out after that. That's not all I got for now. XD. This is like when the evil person in the Bond movie is just like, you've served your purpose now, henchman B. Now I must feed you to my sharks. What happens if, like, you have a fucking Shark Tank as, like, a Bond villain, and then the sharks, like, don't eat the person? Like, that shit must be so unreliable if you actually tried to do it. Like, you'd have to keep the sharks, like, constantly hungry all the time, but then that would, like, affect their health. Probably, right? Like, it just feels like a really unstable way to have, like, your execution device on hand. I don't know if I could rely on sharks to properly eat my enemies. It would be, like, so anticlimactic and embarrassing if you drop someone into their shark tank and they were just, like, just swimming in there and the sharks weren't paying attention. Shoot the henchmen that chose the wrong sharks. Yes, but if we're going to start shooting the henchmen, then we should start shooting Bond as well, and then this, like, the whole system collapses. Maybe it's better if you just have, like, a specially designed laser system or something. But, just relying on the sharks alone just seems like a real, you know, a hard bet right there. You might fuck up. I think some of these spikes really need to be, like, jutting out harder here. Would you prefer gators? I don't know. I feel like gators are even more chill than sharks. I would probably just, I don't want to have to worry about the animals, like, staying in good health, but also being hungry all the time, you know? Like, that just seems like too much work. I'd rather just have, like, some sort of industrial meat grinder set up. I know that's not very Bond-like, and it's more like in the Saw universe, but... maybe we could have, like, here's the thing, you can still shoot Bond directly if you have, like, a special gun. We know this from, like, the man with the golden gun, that you're allowed to shoot Bond if you just have, like, a cool setup. So if, like, you take your golden cufflink and your golden, like, cigarette holder or whatever, and you put them together and you create your special golden gun, then you're allowed to shoot Bond with it. Obviously, you know, that doesn't work because then he shoots you, but I'm just saying that we don't have to rely on sharks all the time, you know? Crocodiles are the scariest. They're twice your size and rip you apart in a split second. Kind of. Again, you can't rely on animals all the time, man. I just don't think it's, I mean, if we're actually going for, like, animals that we know are violent, we could just have, like, hippos. We know that hippos murder people for, like, no reason. Hungry, hungry hippo. Yeah, somebody else was saying the hippos. It's actually, hippos are not number one in the African death animals. It's water buffalo. Which says a lot about water buffalo, considering what we know about hippos. Colombia struggles a lot to kill their hippos. They should just try and wipe them all out. I mean, they can't be that hard to find, right? People can, when they set their mind to, like, wiping out a population of animals, they generally can do it, unless it's, like, you're incompetent and you're losing your war to the emus or whatever, the cassowaries. But generally people can murder a population of large megafauna animals if they really set their mind to it. It just gets complicated when you're like, we shouldn't kill all of them and stuff like that. I mean, we were fucking like wiping out the fucking sperm whale population, and they're just like in the middle of the ocean, but we're like, we like the lamps. We need some high quality lighting in our households, and the only way to get it is to murder all the whales. They also lost the cane toads. I mean, Australia, we make fun of the Aussies, but it is like it is a whole different environment. There are some elements like that in Japan as well, but Australia really is like the godforsaken land. So... oh god, this fucking song. It's just like so Pokemon adjacent, but not Pokemon. It's obviously like supposed to be like Pokemon inspired shit, I'm guessing. Pokopia. Oh, it's not even inspired. It's actually like Pokemon shit. God, that's so annoying. I can't handle it. China's population is a lie. Under 1 billion, too many dead.
China recently released its 2025 population data. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the total population is expected to drop to around 1.405 billion, a decrease of 3.39 million from the previous year. This marks the fourth consecutive year of negative growth. Out of the 27 provinces with available data, 20 saw a population decline, while only 7 experienced growth. This data has sparked heated discussions online.
Only a billion, eh? There's a lot of theories. Holy shit, how many fucking face filters is she wearing? Look how beautiful she is, guys! I bet she looks like this in real life.
In Harbin, with a population of 10 million, there's no one on the streets, no one in office buildings.
Her face looks so flat because she's got like 8 filters on.
Remember back when we had 1.3 billion people, the streets were full.
God, this perfect Asian glasses wife.
But now, with 1.4 billion, it feels like there's no one. The only place that's crowded now is the hospital. There are huge lines there.
There's a lot of theories that China is actually like below 1 billion population because we have no idea, including the Chinese government. Nobody has any idea how many people died during the COVID, right? Male friends versus female friends. AI Japanese listening daily with 43 subscribers and 35 views.
こんにちは、あきらです。今日もよろしくお願いします。
あきらくん、昨日の週末は何をしていましたか？お天気もすごく良かったですよね。
僕は大学時代の男友達と久しぶりに居酒屋へ飲みに行きましたよ。
ああ、いいですね。実は私も昨日
the female Japanese AI voice actually has incorrect pronunciation. It's not really pronunciation, it's like the intonation is, it's not how Japanese people speak. If we go back for 1 second.
大学時代の男友達と久しぶりに居酒屋へ飲みに行きましたよ。
ああ、いいですね。実は私も昨日高校の時の女友達と会ってカフェで4時間も話していたんです。
It's not that off, but there's slight intonation differences in how like actual Japanese people speak. Who watches this shit? The answer is nobody, because it has 35 views. YouTube doing a great job pruning their AI content, clearly. See, YouTube, their algorithm says there's like no way there's any actual bilingual people who can watch Japanese channels and actually understand Japanese and also watch English channels. So they automatically assume I'm a fucking weeb that doesn't understand Japanese. So they are constantly recommending me more videos so I can learn Japanese and become a real Japanese person. Bush Tits Flash Mob. The Bird Math. Oh no, not the Bush Tits. Oh god, that's the bushiest tit I've seen. Holy shit. Too hot for TV. If I'm going to listen to a Japanese podcast, I want a real person. See, Japanese audio is kind of dominated by the radio. So there aren't really Japanese podcasts. I've looked for them. They're still just like, holy shit, that's a lot of birds. That's actually creepy. So many tits. You should see the great tit, yeah. You tit! One thing I don't like about birds is how like their movements are a little jerky. Wet tits. God. You guys have, most of you probably didn't grow up in the golden age of when your method for masturbating was turning on the TV late at night so you could watch the Girls Gone Wild videos. It was a different time. Those girls were so crazy. I wonder what they're doing now. Underwear catalog. I was jacking off to women wearing a one-piece swimsuit in a Sears ad. I understood the superiority of the one-piece swimsuit even back then. They work in strip clubs and OnlyFans now. I think they're mothers. They got knocked up by local Chad at the beach. A few channels would air artsy European movies with artistic sex scenes. Also, if you were in Japan, you got way more opportunities to access porn than in America, so that was always good. Still wasn't that easy, but... Even as a child, I knew my destiny in life, the one thing that I was destined to do, and that was, of course, masturbation. So when I was in Japan, when I was 6, my mother would allow me to go, like, buy a single ice cream bar as, like, a dessert. Something I could do as a day. And then when I would go to the convenience store, I would pretend to be looking at all the ice cream options, but I was actually looking at the magazines where there was titties. I wasn't actually opening them. I was just looking at the cover. And I thought I was like, you know, perfectly safe. And then the fucking convenience store owner dude fucking tattled on me to my mother. He had no honor among men. And my mother, who is a rabid feminist and hates the male gaze, found out, and I got in trouble. And to this day, I know that this man will go to hell and burn in hell for betraying the trust among men. Yeah, fucking snitches get stitches. Burn in hell, motherfucker. As if you weren't a horny bastard. Yeah, what a bitch, man. Getting in the way of, like, just a innocent 6-year-old who just wanted to look at titties. It's not like I was opening the, you know, hidden magazines and stuff like that. I just want to look at the titties on the cover, god damn it. Magazine store owners didn't care as long as you bought some products. Yeah. There's always like one old magazine store guy who would just let you buy the titty mags even when you're in middle school. It would sort of go from there. That's like step one. I guess the collar is wrong. I cook the tip of my finger like a genius. Pray for me. This is why we need to leave women in the kitchen. They need to remember their place so that men don't burn themselves. The male digits are too precious. They cannot be risked for cooking and chopping vegetables and stuff. We need to keep our fingers intact so we can masturbate. I thought it was safe atop the bacon that I was laying down. See, I think a lot of these problems can be avoided if Americans just got proficient at chopstick use. Chopstick use really goes a long way. People who are good with chopsticks can use them just as well as their own hands, so you can avoid a lot of problems just by like picking up and flipping everything with your chopsticks and stuff. Cooking chopsticks are goated. I miss my old ones. Japan is difficult if you can't use chopsticks because a lot of shit is just assumed that you can use chopsticks. But if you can use chopsticks, it makes a lot of life easier. I'm sure some of you have seen the Japanese people eating potato chips with chopsticks so that they don't get their fingers oily. This is a way to avoid, you know, being like past the controller, bro, and it's covered in Cheetos dust. See, in Japan, they wouldn't have the Cheetos dust on the controller because they'd have been using chopsticks. I can't use chopsticks. I'm fine with fork. The thing with chopsticks is they can serve as a fork. They can be a knife. They can be, you know, they can pick shit up. They can cut shit. You can do everything with chopsticks, basically. Cheetos with chopsticks is living in the 24th century. There are no Cheetos at the Japanese supermarket, at least the Japanese supermarket that I'm around. Instead, I went to the supermarket yesterday and I bought some proper food, but on the way back, I also ate some potato chips, but they weren't normal potato chips. They were Calbee barbecue flavored, like weird waffle shaped potatoes. Calbee barbecue waffle shaped potato chips. I don't even know if they were potatoes. Yeah, these things right here. Sapporo potato barbecue aji. The umami of meat. Yes, I could definitely taste the umami of meat while I was eating these wafery oily potato chips covered in MSG. They were pretty good. They're okay. They taste better than American barbecue, at least. American barbecue just tastes like barbecue sauce. But Japanese barbecue flavor actually tastes a little bit like, you know, meat. My favorite ones are Lay's fried crab ones. I really liked potato chips for a while, and then I was just like, I'm going to stop eating them, and I stopped eating them. I was watching alcoholics trying to quit drinking YouTube content recently. For some reason, it's getting recommended to me. And the guys are like, if I bought any alcohol and I kept it in the house, I would drink all of it. And I'm like, hey, that's my relationship with Japanese bread. Maybe I have a bread problem. The dill pickle ones, I've had dill pickle potato chips. I don't think they were that good. I like dill pickle, but I don't think it works very well as a potato chip flavor. I also really like spicy shit, and I've been trying to avoid like spicy potato chips and stuff because they say like don't mess with your asshole when you have hemorrhoids. So, but I've never had like shitting pain. It's never really given me a problem. For me, it's not a bit good pickle unless it's super garlicky. There's all these, like, big jars of just, like, garlic and spicy oil and stuff in Japan, and you're supposed to eat them with, like, pot stickers or just, like, put it on your rice. And I'm trying to avoid eating it because I know that I'm gonna, like, eat the entire fucking jar. The chili crisp sauce. The Japanese, they call it like taberu rayu, like raw oil that you can eat and stuff. There's like combos that have like pork and shit in it, some of them, but it's like, in general, it's just like chopped up garlic in a bunch of oil and stuff. And if you eat the entire fucking jar, you're eating like 17,000 calories. Because it's just like pure oil. Do the Japanese care about soccer? They do enough to beat the US women's team. Japan is a country that, in general, is very good at team sports compared to their population and stuff. This is the opposite of, like, China, which is a country that spends a shit ton of pride and investment and has a huge population. So theoretically, they should have, like, some amount of team sports success, but they have absolutely none. And it says something about their national character. And Japan is kind of the opposite. They tend to always punch above their weight in stuff that requires, like, team coordination and, like, discipline and stuff like that. And it's been that way in a lot of different sports. Like, Japan will win a bunch of, like, gold medals and stuff in, like, synchronized swimming and stuff like that. That's almost the average American's daily calorie intake. Just add an extra 700 calories. It's so easy to lose weight when you're in Japan, guys. I know I make it sound like magic, but you literally just eat less because, like, everything is just automatically less. Everything is smaller. If you go to McDonald's, and the flavor of McDonald's is exactly the same, but somehow you're ordering, like, the large meal, and they don't give you your fucking gigantic sized Coke. Like, I realized I ordered a large meal. I said a large meal last time I went to McDonald's, and they gave me a large fries, but the drink was, it was a medium size. So what that tells you is, like, they don't automatically upgrade you to the large size drink, which is just like a given if you're in America, you know? Average American who doesn't get the maximum amount of sugar when they order their large McDonald's would be like, call the manager right now. A grave sin has been committed against me. But in Japan, this is just normal. I don't know how to draw Ragna's hair. Every version of Ragna has slightly different hair, by the way. It's not consistent between different BlazBlue formats. Whatever. I thought Japan had good KFC, but I found out they started making their chicken here good again, too. Japan has way better KFC, but it has the same McDonald's in terms of flavor, but it has a slightly different menu. Even the things on the Japanese McDonald's menu that are supposed to be like special for Japan, and they call them like Samurai Mac, they all basically taste like McDonald's. Like, you can tell whatever mix of corn syrup and shit that they're putting in their special sauces to give it that special McDonald's flavor are consistent among every version. So even when you have, like, teriyaki sauce flavored Japanese samurai burger or whatever shit like that, it's still like, yeah, this definitely tastes like McDonald's. A slightly different version of McDonald's. It's always that, like, slightly sweet flavoring that kids love. There's also, at the train station besides the McDonald's, there's a burger place called Freshness Burger, which is kind of like a slightly upscale. You get less food. It's slightly more expensive. You can get like avocado burgers and stuff, that kind of place. A scam tourist spot? No, it's a chain. I wonder how many locations they have. Freshness Burger. Freshness Burger. Nihon no fast food chain. It is a Kanagawa Prefecture, Yokohama-based burger chain. Its concept is a place for adults, a burger cafe for adults. Because it considers itself to be a cafe, they charge more, and they give you less food. See, they have like these big avocado fair stuff. The burgers are okay. The fries are okay as well. They have some nice lemonade and stuff. But when I'm in the mood for a burger, I'm usually in the mood of eating something that's really bad for me. So it doesn't scratch that itch, which is a critical flaw, of course. When I want burgers, I want to be, you know, seriously damaging my cardiovascular health. Burger time. Just make your own? Nah. Especially when I want burgers, what I really want is the fries, and I sure as fuck ain't cooking fries. I ain't gonna be doing any kind of deep frying of anything, so... I always order a side salad with burgers these days, unless it's onion rings, but that's rare. I had my blood work done recently because I'm technically getting surgery, even though it's not really surgery, but it's getting anesthesia. So they had to make sure I don't have like insane high blood sugar and stuff, and my heart isn't going to explode and shit. But all the blood work numbers seem to be fine. So I think I'm okay for eating burgers a little bit more. Not a little bit more, but like I don't have to like grossly change my diet right now. I think I'm okay. I think my insulin sensitivity is like way back up now that I lost a little bit of weight. Because I can really feel the blood sugar in my veins once I just like eat a even moderate amount of carbs. And then I do up like a bunch of squats to make sure I get my blood sugar down. When I was eating Oreos daily, delicious birthday cake flavored Oreos, I was becoming desensitized to my insulin being up, so I probably wasn't really thinking about it. My cousin from Cambridge visited yesterday. I ate more starch than usual. I ended up crashing out earlier than normal. I can really kind of like feel this tingling in like my thighs and my calves and stuff. Like I can always feel differences in health. Like tension in my legs is what I feel. Like if I don't eat enough vegetables after a few days, I can feel like my body wants vegetables, and somehow I can like kind of feel it in my legs in a weird way. It's always in my legs. Something about the leg muscles are like telling me I have to do like healthy shit. My grandpa had to reduce his pan dulce because he had high cholesterol. Once he got it back down to normal level, he went back to eating pan dulce. Yeah, it do be like that. The stanky legs, yeah. Like, I can feel the blood sugar being too high in the legs, and I can also feel like the body needs, like, some vegetable whatever in it after a few days of not eating salad in the legs as well. Try magnesium for restless legs. Isn't that like a medical issue? Restless legs. I would be like, if your legs are restless, you just need to do squats or something, but I don't think that's the case. I get restless legs when I have like an intense workout schedule, and then like if I take a few days off, my muscles are like, wait, you're not going to move me. It used to be really bad because I had way more energy because I was younger, but it still is a kind of a problem. So when I get on a fucking airplane and I'm sitting in a seat for like 12 hours straight, I have to get up and like go to the back of the plane where the stewardesses are and just like do squats and shit like that to make myself feel better. Good way to avoid getting deep vein thrombosis as well. I'm glad I don't have to get on a plane anytime soon, though. The last time I was on a plane, it was like one of the worst plane rides I've had in my life, so... Probably partially because I had spent too much time cleaning out my room before I left and stuff. And I had drank like caffeine and shit. But it was also just because the airplane companies are getting like super, if you're not a first class passenger, we don't consider you to be human kind of mode. So that Airbus was like way more crowded than some of the Boeings I'd been on in the past. It was just like an absolute fucking nightmare. You were just like, your elbows were bumping into the other person's elbows for like 13 hours straight. Like, seriously, fuck that. My grandpa had to stop being Mexican for a while. He loves his conchas. Mexico approaching American levels of diabetes at the moment. America cannot lose. We have to drink more corn syrup, guys. We can't let the Mexican Coca-Cola drinkers win. I like how Americans are so obsessed with spiking their blood sugar. They're like, the Mexican Coke, it's better, it's more pure. It's not like our low-quality corn syrup stuff. They use real sugar. It's like, guys, how about instead of worrying about the quality of the sweetener you're getting in your fizzy beverage, maybe eat something slightly healthier? No? Is that impossible? Okay. I'm sorry I tried. I was wrong to try and encourage healthier behavior in Americans. That's just mean. Something about the hair looks incorrect, even though I already spent a ton of time on it. I think it's not spiky or coming out enough on this side. A rugby team destroying one of the two bathrooms. Big men need to make big poops. This is the law of the jungle. This is rules of nature, baby. Big strong man, big strong poop. The airplane bathroom will learn to fear us and our rugby pooping power. It could have been worse. It could have been like an entire stable full of sumo wrestlers. Sumo wrestlers regularly have problems where they try and shit and like they break the toilet seat because it's not built for people who weigh that much. Also, if once you get super fat, you can't wipe your own asshole, so you have to get like your assistant to wipe it for you. I don't know why any person would be like, you know what professional support I want to do? Sumo. It pays very little amounts of money. It's literally the most unhealthy sport, and a large percentage of sumo wrestlers die at 50 because they get all the heart complications from doing strenuous exercise, plus also being overweight. And it doesn't pay much money. And then, like, you can't wipe your own ass. And you have to do extremely painful, hard exercise on the cold-ass, hard dirt floor every day. And then also you get your ass beaten by your senpai. There's literally not a good thing about sumo wrestling. So, whoever likes sumo, I guess I salute you. I enjoy watching it. It's a good sport to consume in the current media age because the matches are so quick and stuff, but like, holy fuck. Talk about something that's like, you're sacrificing a ton of shit for so little. Don't they do it for honor? I don't know. I think they just don't know better. I mean, there's a reason why for quite a while sumo was just full of like Mongolians and stuff, and now it's full of Ukrainians. It's because they don't have much better prospects in Mongolia. They have a similar wrestling tradition in Mongolia, of course, but the number one reason is, you know, they're not like making it out as a soccer player, so. Needing to shit and then being on, like, in an airplane is just, like, probably the worst. I don't know how people are okay with, like, going outside their house and being caught in a situation where they have to, like, take a shit in a hostile environment. Like, that's, like, DEFCON 1 for me, is, like, I need to use a public toilet. And this is even in, like, Japan, in which the public toilets are very nice. Kind of the life of every pro combat sports practitioner. Yeah, but like, if you're the best sumo wrestler in the world, you're making, like, I don't know, several million in your lifetime earnings. If you're, like, the best boxer in the world, like Floyd Mayweather, you're making hundreds of millions of dollars in lifetime earnings. So it's, like, completely different levels of wealth. And we're talking about the top level. Sumo wrestlers, like, you can still get you can get like room and board and get to eat even if you're a shitty sumo wrestler, but like the ceiling is much lower. It has a high floor but a very low ceiling because it's just a sport that isn't really a sport, and it's kind of like stuck in Japan. if you're even a moderately successful NBA player, you're making several times the lifetime earnings of like a top level sumo wrestler within like 1 year, even if you're just like a mid-tier exception NBA player. Sumo wrestler or salaryman? I mean, in terms of lifetime earnings, the average earnings of a salaryman is probably going to be significantly higher than even if you're like saying the sumo wrestlers who made it into the quote-unquote big leagues, the Makunochi. You're probably looking at less lifetime earnings, at least from sumo. A lot of them, once their careers are over, they start like restaurants and stuff because you're forced to learn how to cook if you're in the sumo stables. Everybody has to know how to cook, so a lot of times they start restaurants and shit. I assume they're pretty good. Tasty, high-calorie sumo food. Both are fucked health-wise, one for drinking and the other for fatty liver. The sumo wrestlers also do insane amounts of drinking as well. At least the ones in the 90s did. I was watching interviews of people like telling stories of the 90s sumo, and they were like, yeah, the guys who just like, after the basho is over, they go to restaurants, and sumo wrestlers have these, they don't have a lot of like pay directly, but they have these things called tanimachi, which are just like sponsors. They're like patrons of the sumo wrestlers. So the tanimachi will be like rich company owners and stuff who will take the sumo wrestlers out for eating. And part of the joy is like, you know, watching the sumo wrestlers like demolish the food that you provide them. And if you're a sumo wrestler, obviously there's no worry about like gaining weight because you're supposed to be gaining weight. So they will just like drink like multiple bottles of sake in a night and stuff like that. Just like insane drinking stories. There's all of this shit. So sumo wrestling is just really bad for your health. The environment is bad. What you're required to do for the sport is bad, but like the people around you are also bad as well. No way to escape Japanese drinking culture. It's not as bad nowadays, though. It's been toned down quite a bit, I believe. On the other hand, I am gaijin, so I'm not expected to have the strict drinking peer pressure standards that all the other Japanese people have to live within. I'm living in a different universe. And I also don't go to work, so... This does not look like a whiskey glass. How do I draw a whiskey glass, guys? Kenny Omega and Kenta did a few videos with their patrons a while back. Japanese professional wrestlers don't count. They're spending all their time doing fan service. My OTP. Uwu. I wish I could drink, honestly. Or I wish I could drink without any consequences and I could be inebriated. I can't drink at all. But it's not like the people who can drink without consequences. I wish I could, like, seriously fuck myself up. But I just don't have the genes in me. And my rationality never really goes away. There's always like the rational part of my brain that is never turned off, being like, you shouldn't drink this. And then I'll be like, yeah, you're right, rational part of the brain. Like, I never had my, like, 20s, woo! When I was saying woo during my 20s, I wasn't actually, like, thinking woo. I was performatively saying woo. Because I knew I was supposed to be behaving that way, but I wasn't actually wooing. The tragedy. Are you diabetic? No, I'm just Asian. A lot of Asians don't have the enzymes. Their liver doesn't produce the alcohol, anti-alcohol dissolving enzymes that you need to be able to drink. Maybe try Fent. Yeah, I'll just walk down to the local Fent dealer. That's another reason why I can't do drugs, is because I can't, like, ever find the fucking dealer. I don't know how the drug users always can find their dealers so quickly. Maybe it's not quickly. Maybe they just put in a lot more work than I do. A lot of the things I complain about not participating in, drugs, sex, social activity, are things that if I'm met with even the slightest amount of resistance, I'm like, well, I guess I have to give up now. I walked down the corner and asked a random sketchy person whether they were a drug dealer, and they said no, so I guess I won't be getting any cocaine. Meanwhile, an actual addict would be like, I've been trying to get cocaine for the last 48 hours. I think I finally found a guy who knows a guy. He might steal my kidney, but as long as I get the drugs, it's not worth getting shit-faced unless you have a group of friends to go with you. That's another part, is that I'm not social enough to be a social drinker. So I'd just be like straight into alcoholism immediately because I'd just be drinking alone. I have a lot of the elements in me that would make me a good alcoholic. But I can't actually be an alcoholic because I don't have very addictive personality, and I also can't digest the alcohol. If you want to be a true alcoholic, you need to have like serious liver power. Dealers are like the devil. You don't find them, they find you. I've never been found by a dealer. Nobody has ever offered me pot. I went to a party once and they were passing a blunt around, so I inhaled once. It didn't really do much to me. I've never been exposed to weed again. Oh, that's not true. I met one of my old friends from high school and she had her weed supply, so I smoked with her once then. So I've smoked weed in my life twice. It was an underwhelming experience. Knew an alcoholic. He wasn't fun when he was drunk. Also drank by himself. Yeah, drinking by yourself is one of the telltale signs that you're going down the path of alcoholism. You can still be an alcoholic even when you drink with friends, but you need to have like that extra layer of, reason to go out and drink with your buddies. But if you're committed to the alcoholic lifestyle, then you can start drinking by yourself. Like anything, when you want to train to be the greatest, it requires a lot of hours spent doing lonely repetition. You don't get to go out with your friends, whether it's becoming a great artist or a great, basketball player or a great Street Fighter player or whatever. You have to spend a lot of time in the training mode alone. And the same can be said for being an alcoholic as well. If you're only drinking when you're going out to party, then you're probably not on your way to be a true championship level alcohol dependency. A friend in high school only had weed once, and he went into such a paranoid schizoid episode he swore off any and all drugs forever. I mean, it only takes one bad trip when you think like you're being attacked and for you to get like shot by cops in America, so you're basically always like one step away from the cops murdering you in America, so you really have to be careful. You just like start freaking out, think that people are out to kill you. Somebody naively calls the cops thinking you're having a psychotic episode or something. The cops are like, well, I know how to solve this problem, and then they gun you down. Maybe it's time you get a girlfriend assistant maid to get drunk with? No. Forever alone. I could never betray my fellow antisocial losers of this chat. I know you'd be so disappointed in me if I ever got a girlfriend. I say this as a joke, but if you think about it, there's like multiple VTubers and stuff who actually have to live that life. That's pretty funny if you think about it. They have to be like, yeah, we have to pretend that I'm not dating anybody because I'm an anime avatar. That's my job. Did you see the Machine Elves? We would be glad for you and worried for her safety. I would never stab my perfect body pillow girlfriend. And if I did, I'd have to repair her and stitch her up. They all have boyfriends IRL. A female who has never had any boyfriend at all is like a serious red flag. It's not like males who have never had a girlfriend. Women can always find opposite sex company if they even have like the slightest amount of ability. So if they've never had a boyfriend their entire life, that's like massive, massive red flags. There's plenty of guys who have never had a girlfriend who are probably like okay. But if a female has never had a boyfriend at any point and they're like hitting 30, that's a huge warning flag. I know one, she's training to be a nun. At least she's self-aware. It's especially dangerous, I feel, if they're like not aware of it and they think there's like something wrong with other people. Just beat the Tribunal expansion of Morrowind, somehow worse than the mediocre base game. Bethesda games have to be the games that people think are like mediocre or bad, but they still like play them for 300 hours. Like they're like the ultimate example of that, I feel. One IRL femcel friend. I bet she just looks like all of my extremely cute anime femcels who are only unattractive because they have bags under their eyes. I can fix her, he said, mistakenly. If they've never had a guy, they're lying. And if they're not lying, then you probably don't want to be their first guy. You cannot fix her. She's too far gone. She knows she has issues and knows she'll never be happy with any man she dates. Well, at least she knows it. Knowing is the half the battle. I don't remember how it goes. My neighbor's a femcel, and I kind of get it. Not gonna lie, we went on a date and she was talking about having kids within 20 minutes. This sounds like one of my Desperate Elf comics, in which the elf is too eager for sex that it turns everybody off. Ragna looks dead inside, just like me for real. The requester's idea was Ragna and Velvet drinking at a bar, talking about how depressing their lives are. Because Velvet is often considered to be like female Ragna. And I was just like, I didn't draw it. This is like from 2 years ago. I didn't draw it because I'm like, this feels too niche. But maybe it, I said to my followers on Patreon that if you've been paying money for me and I haven't drawn your idea for like 3 years, make sure to mention it to me and I'll make sure I, do you a solid because some people just stop requesting and stuff, so... Ragna's personality is just a standard dead on the inside monotone man when he's out of a tense situation like sexting Hazama. I heard that the entire plot of BlazBlue was just people wanting to breed with Ragna. Ragna Blood Edge, peak Chuny name by the way. Velvet Crow also up there in Chuny names, of course. But it's not really just Chuny. It could also be American high school goth girl as well. Hot Topic name. Hot Topic and Chuny are very similar and they overlap in many ways, but they're not exactly the same. There's a slight difference. You could say that maybe Hot Topic is the entrance mode before you become full Chuny. It's a gateway drug. Once you have Sasuke t-shirt from Hot Topic, then you're ready to take your journey down the Chuny rabbit hole. But the Hot Topic is step 1. One is used as a club name, the other is Chuny Cringe. Yeah, Velvet Crow does kind of sound like a club. A club where a lot of illicit drugs are used, I would say. Need a Venn diagram for Chuny, emo, and edgy. I feel like edgy and Chuny are basically the exact same. Sasuke! Hold on, let's watch a Sasuke anime. Mad. Sasuke Mad. Uchiha Sasuke AMV, not strong enough. Sasuke Films, written with a Z, guys. 10 million views 11 years ago. I'm feeling my hypeness. He's just like me, guys. She likes Sakura too. Was she like, Sakura is just like me, only I can solve his darkness. He's so cool. Sakura is one of the lamest there has ever been, and she's among a lot of competition. The default shonen female love interest is often the lamest character in every individual series, so... This is the level of cringe that kept me away from the anime for years. It's cringe Kino, bro. You don't understand. You just don't have the darkness inside you like me and Sasuke have. Mid-anime with the lamest music ever is somehow super popular, I guess. Naruto was able to channel the cringiest cringe of all time. And see, anything that's popular is popular because it's satisfying a customer needs. People who complain about how their favorite or whatever they produced isn't selling and it's not fair, they're not thinking of it as like a market, and you're satisfying the market needs. Naruto satisfied very specific market needs of chuny middle schoolers in a way that was appealing to both the Japanese and American and European middle schoolers going through a very specific time in their life in which they thought their heart was filled with darkness. If you put in Sasuke in English, you also get all the better version of Sasuke, which is just these people who need to have like a real job climbing walls and shit. Climb up the wall, bitch! Ah! I say they need a real job, but they all actually have real jobs. This is what they do in their spare time. These guys are absolutely jacked. Oh, let's fucking go! Sasuke was so much better than American Ninja Warrior. It had a way more latent homosexual tension, as you can tell by the lack of shirts. I feel ancient hearing this. That's what this stream is for, guys, to make people born in the late 80s and 90s feel how old they are. American Ninja Warrior is not the same. The biggest, what's the opposite of glow up? The anti-glow up was the gap between Japanese Iron Chef and American Iron Chef of all like the 90s stuff fall off, I guess would be a good word. They really were not able to translate the power of Iron Chef to American TV. Chopped, yeah. Post-bubble Japan had like some of the best media ever, because like they were still riding like the crazy era of Japan economic success, but it kind of like had tapered off just a little bit, so it was slightly more sane. But it had still had a lot of the production values. It was like the perfect combination of different factors to create some of the most Kino shit in the early 90s. Like, there was a long period in which the Japanese economy was already in the process of crashing, but people hadn't really noticed it yet. So it was just like, it was still just a lot of positivity and stuff. And it went on for a solid like 5 or 6 years between like 1990 and 1996 or so. And it produced a lot of great cultural shit. The Zoomies will never understand the time I was driving down the mountain roads in my Nissan Skyline GTR while listening to Bees on my tape cassette with my girlfriend dressed like Amuro Namie in the other seat. Did you see Criterion put the K-On! Movie in their catalog? LMAO. I wonder who makes the decisions for what gets into the Criterion collection. I would have liked to hear the justification of whoever is like in charge of procuring the catalog. I wish they would be like, you don't understand, K-On! Love between girls is more pure. I want to hear like the Yuri Pig copium about why K-On! Movie needs to be in the catalog. It probably helps that like half of the animators that made K-On! Were like murdered, so that's probably helping. Wait, what? Remember the Kyoani fire that killed like 70 people? They're all dead. The fact that Kyoani quality, animation quality hasn't dropped after the fires says a lot of like how much talent they had accumulated. Ryu took my idea. His idea, by the way, was like, and then we go they went to the supermarket to buy some meat. And it was like, "Aree! That anime had a supermarket in it too! My idea has been stolen! Ah!" Honestly, that dude made like all the guys who murder VTubers or like hostess club women because they thought that the woman loved them but they were like lost all their money. It makes those people look like super sane. The Kyoani murder was like true schizo. He had truly lost it. And if you actually like, what we learned from his background was like he was basically destined to commit crimes because like his entire living situation was like fucked from day one, from his genetics to like all of his family to everything. There was basically no situation in which he probably wasn't going to end up as some kind of criminal, so rest in peace, Japanese society is kind of what it was like. Like, I think the schizophrenia part was also, like, genetic as well, but, like, everything around him was also, like, extremely a negative influence on whatever mental state he was in, so... It's unfortunate that we can't charge people with future crime, because there are some people that you're just like 100% sure that they're going to commit murder in the future, like various stalkers, but you can't be like, we think he's going to murder somebody. But like half the time when these guys like commit murder, like everybody around them is like, yeah, we had notified the cops 6 months ago. And the cop can't do anything because even if in your hearts of hearts everybody knows that this guy is going to commit a murder in the future, you can't arrest people for future crime, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure that's what Minority Report was about. Yeah, except Minority Report isn't about, like, guys who should obviously be on a watch list murdering their ex-girlfriends. It's like, people have stopped committing murder because we know future crime is going to happen because we have telepaths. But we don't actually need telepaths to predict this shit. When you have, like, absolutely batshit crazy incel who is buying a gun and who has been stalking his ex-girlfriend for the last 6 months, you're like, bro, this guy's gonna kill her soon. And everybody fucking knows it, and you can't really do anything about it. You mean like with the Poga Center stabbing? Yeah, that was the most recent one in which I was like, yeah, we saw that one coming. Everybody was like, yep, we thought he was going to do it, and he did it. This is where the NRA is like, this is why women we all need to own guns so women can protect themselves. You know, if you are truly sure that you're going to get attacked by this guy as a female, like that you know he's like going to come after you, it might be an idea to try and go after him yourself first and like murder him first and then just like claim self-defense. And then like women always get like way lower penalties. So even if the self-defense doesn't hold up, you'll probably only go to prison for like 5 years or so. Like, I feel like that's probably the only way for you to not get killed by these people. Is just try and murder them before they murder you. The sad part was police telling her to give up her dream job instead of doing something about him. I mean, there's really nothing police can do, right? Like, you can't afford to have the police standing around you 24/7 for the rest of your life. They can't arrest him for whatever shit that he's gonna do in the future. Literally all you can do is like change your name and move away from him and like ruin your fucking life over this guy. So maybe they should just like kill them ahead of time. See, if this was like, if we weren't living in like this kind of like law-based society, that's exactly what would happen. Like, you'd talk to the village elder or whatever about it, and they just, like, beat him to death or something, and that would be that. Of course, when you live in a non-law-based society, in general, it's gonna turn out bad for you in a different way, more often than not. Like, you'd be forced to marry the village elder's shitty son instead. So, it's not really, like, a better solution at all, but it's one of those problems of living in a properly functioning legal system, is that we can't stop these people from killing you. Again, this is like one of the best arguments for the NRA being like, women need to have guns so they can protect themselves. But then when you actually have that, then the guy also has a gun, so yeah, it doesn't really work out. Bringing back Yobai, I see. Japanese sexo is just guy crawling into your futon in the middle of the night. I have quite a few Yobai JAVs in my JAV collection. Now that I'm back in Japanese IP address, I should re-download the Fanza official player so I can watch the anime I bought. They were basically blocking me from watching it in the States because I guess they didn't want to have to deal with like American morality laws, and that pissed me off so much that I wasn't able to watch all these JAVs that I had bought with my own money, although they were all on sale, of course. But besides Chikan, Yobai is also another one of the genres I liked because, again, I don't want to have to listen to the bad acting moaning, so Yobai, like Chikan, is one of the things where the women don't make annoying noises. They just do like muffled breathing, which is way sexier than whatever porn star noises they tend to make if you leave them to their own devices. They especially aren't allowed to make noises if their like husband is right next to them. Imagine if you could sleep as well as the husband in a Yobai NTR JAV video. That guy must be just like absolutely getting the best sleep of his life. He ain't waking up during the middle of the night to go pee or anything. It's just 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. non-stop sleeping, no matter how much like squirting and ejaculating is happening next to him. Yobai is uniquely Japanese courtship ritual. It's a lot of it comes from a lack of like Christian morality and lack of inheritance and stuff like that, so it didn't really matter as much whose kid you were getting. There was a high chance you were getting fucked by like some other person, but not a big deal. I think it was much more prominent in like Japanese farm areas than it was like in more urban areas though. People should have sex in the middle of the day and then make a large American meal afterwards and then fall asleep while being very full? You mean so they can get diabetes? Yes. I too support having elevated blood sugars that lead to chronic health problems. Nothing like passing out as my insulin spikes and then crashes. I don't know how to draw her nose. If you're a part of the samurai class, they cared a lot more about who you were having sex with. But if you're just like random farm lady in random farm area, kids are just like labor. So the more kids, the better. It doesn't really matter whether you're getting knocked up by your husband or your boyfriend or just like your random cousin or whatever. It's just more resources for you to produce more rice that gets taken away by the samurai class. Tsuyama massacre was caused by dude getting rejected by Yobai. Wasn't that like that? Like super recent? Like the 1700s or like 1900s or something? I can't remember. Let me look up Tsuyama Jiken. What year was that? I think I vaguely remember that. Early 1900s. Oh, he killed 30 people, that's right. The Tsuyama 30人殺し. Tsuyama 30 person murder in Okayama Prefecture. He went into 11 houses and attacked them in an hour and a half. He killed 28 people with a hunting rifle and knives and stuff. What a Giga Chad. This is the like ultimate version of women owe sex. He basically wiped out his entire village. TB pilled. Stupid bitch woman not wanting to have sex with me just because I have tuberculosis. The ultimate incel. There's all these like horror stories based off of him. Like I remember growing up as like reading manga, and there would often be like in like gag manga, there'd be like characters that when they lose their mind, they'd they strap like these fucking flashlights to their head. Like this. Like, this was like a random joke that would show up in the fucking manga, and they'd have like the double knives set up. But they'd have like the flashlights tied to their head, and like maybe like flashlights in their pants and stuff. It's a big trope in horror manga. It was also a trope in like gag manga and stuff as well. Didn't some dude say Kenshin had tuberculosis? There's different versions of how Kenshin ends, but in one version of Kenshin, it ends with him like dying from tuberculosis, and then the girl he's fucking, or Kaoru, I think it was Kaoru, I can't remember at the time, was like, I will also get tuberculosis and die, or maybe it was the opposite way. Maybe she got tuberculosis and then he got tuberculosis. But that's also considered to be like a fan version of the story. I can't remember. I think Rurouni Kenshin, giving Rurouni Kenshin like a proper sad story ending, like it's a proper work of literature, is stupid because the entire story is like silly battle manga for the rest of it. I'm not gonna let them change it and like gaslight me into thinking that's like a proper novel. That's stupid. I can't take this shit seriously when all the other volumes of the story is all about like guy punching sword with his bare hands and shit. Guy who looks like X-Men causing Kaoru to not be able to breathe because he's using hypnosis, that shit. Like, come on, man. I can't be like, yes, and then they both died of tuberculosis. Fuck off. That's silly. The manga was 8 out of 10 and aged well. The -2 points come from the author getting arrested for obtaining underage porn. Many such cases. I still think Garuko-chan is a 10 out of 10 though. Kenshin groomed her to get TB with her. It's okay, Kenshin is an older man, but he looks young. Kaoru comes from the 90s in which Mamoru-chan is a college student dating a middle schooler in Sailor Moon. You mean Mamoru? Yeah. Was it? What did I say? Did I not call him Mamoru? I can't remember all the Sailor Moon characters' names. Let me try and name all the Sailor Moon characters' names. Usagi-chan. And I'm done. I can't even remember the characters I like. Usagi, Chibi-Usa, Mamoru, and all the rest I just remember them from their sailor names. Ray, that's right, Ray. I wanted to fuck Ray so bad, but I can't even remember her name, although that sounds pretty normal for standard, like, Asperger behavior, I guess. Ray exists for breeding and childbearing, specifically my child. What was Sailor Mercury's name? I feel like I've seen it a million times and yet I can't remember it. Ami Mizuno? I literally can't remember this shit. I'm watching like Slay the Spire streams, and these people remember all the names of these different cards, and they all have similar names like Flesh Melter and shit like that. I'm like, how can you remember this shit? There's like 200 fucking cards. Makoto Kino is Jupiter, Mina Aino is Venus. It's especially easy to remember in Japanese because their names are like directly tied to the thing that they represent. So I really have no excuse for not being able to remember their names, but I still can't. That's just my brain. $200, try remembering the 20,000 Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but you don't actually have to remember all of them. It's not like you have to call out the name of the card to play it. This isn't like the anime where you're like, hold on, let me use my Pot of Greed, and everyone suddenly asks you, what does it do? And you have to explain what Pot of Greed does. It's not like that, so... I have mainly visual memory, so I don't remember the names of shit. I just remember, like, the artwork that it has. I remember it in terms of the card in which the guy is doing the thing, for example. That's just how my brain works. You're not a gamer addict like they are 100 hours the first week Slay the Spire 2 came out. I have some bad news for you if you're wondering why I haven't been posting as much art recently. Last 2 weeks, 34 hours, total 121.2 hours. When did Slay the Spire 2 come out? It came out like 3 weeks ago, maybe? And people are being like, not as much BaalBud artwork recently, huh? That will be the reason why. Ask Libra, nice. I haven't started yet, but that's going to be my new project. I have to sit in the hotel room as my ass heals for like a day, and we don't have any internet access, so I better get ready to do some gaming. 121 hours in a month is still quite a bit, if you ask me. I will say that my favorite character is Ironclad, and Ironclad seems a little undercooked right now. I hope they fix him a little bit. For anybody who plays Spire, I think Ironclad is undercooked. There's too much vulnerable synergy, and that's fine, but they need to have more exhaust synergy and strength synergy. There's like no strength cards. They made the infinites harder, I think. I have never won a Spire run with an infinite ever, which I think says a lot about my level of skill, which is to say not very high. Like somehow I've never been able to get a infinite. I've never actually tried for it. But I always like end up... I don't think I've ever had a deck that's smaller than 20 cards. I don't really aim to have a deck that's smaller than 20 cards, but I've never had one. I've been trying to make sure I have fewer cards, but in general, I just end up with like a 25 card deck. I keep forgetting what month it is. I think Slay the Spire 2 came out right around when Iran-America war was starting, didn't it? And now we're where Iran-America war is ending. I have only one Ascension 10 win. on Ironclad. The other characters, I'm still working my way up to Ascension 10. I haven't even played a single run with Defect yet. I don't like Defect. Ending? I do think it is ending. I think the Revolutionary Guard is like in a pretty fucked up situation and they're running out of things they can do, honestly. I like Regent, but I don't know how to play him. Blood has aura. My opinion is Regent builds about making colorless cards are kind of ass. They're only good because you're erasing... If you're exhausting your own deck's cards, like your defense and strikes in the colorless card making process, it's fine, but... A lot of like the randomness where you're just like, oh, I hope I get a good colorless card is ass, and you shouldn't go down that path. That's my opinion 1 of Regent. I think in the beta patches, the blade is better, but it's still a little unwieldy. I don't know. In terms of favorite characters for me to play, it probably goes Ironclad first, but I wish they'd fix it up a bit, and then second is Regent, and then third is Necrobinder. And I'm not a huge fan of Silent, and definitely not a huge fan of Defect, so... I got Ascension 10 on Silent and Necro. Silent by far is the easiest to win, although I haven't been playing her much. The discard synergy is just off the charts right now. LeBron James affecting stream times. I will not be watching Lakers-Rockets Game 1, probably, because I don't really give a fuck about Lakers versus Rockets. They're just like mincemeat for OKC in the next round, and they don't have Luka, so who fucking cares? Is that the tale of Berseria people keep commissioning ship art of with Ragna? Yes. This is also ship art of her with Ragna. Them drinking, talking about how horrible their lives are. They nerfed Discard and it's still Giga OP LOL. Yeah, Discard was powerful even before they had a million cards that would, like, you would be allowed to play the fucking card by discarding it because you would discard status effects and shit like that. Even in Slay the Spire 1, I relied on Discard quite a lot when I was climbing the Ascensions in Silent. Because you could get, like, Hovering Kite in a Tools of the Trade, and then that was, like, one of the most reliable forms of energy, right? It was, like, no drawback to getting energy if you got Hovering Kite. So that was basically what I was aiming for at the high Ascensions. It was just like, I'm going to start building Discard, and if I get Hovering Kite, I'm going to win, and if I don't, I'm just going to lose. But now it's just, like, off the fucking charts. There's so many cards that you can just play for free, and there's so much discard synergy. I just don't like Defect because I don't find him that satisfying to play because he doesn't have big fat titties. Hurry, we need to create the Defect mod that gives the Defect boobs. Alright guys, I'm gonna end the stream here and watch Lakers or something, maybe, I don't know. See you around, boys. I knew that Death Striker wouldn't be in this stream because she has to root for the Knicks. Guys, make sure to check the Knicks basketball scores going forward and make fun of her if they lose. See you around, guys. Good night.